Yeah, I'll be on stage during a plenary session, so all the mayors will be there talking about public safety, some of the successes we've had in Fresno and being able to reduce violent crime. Violent crime has gone down across the nation, but not as dramatic as we've seen in Fresno. Since when you look at our 2020 and 2021 numbers, our homicides have gone down 60% prior to this year and 70% in shootings. And then when you look at where are at this year, we're continuing that trend. Back in 2020 and 2021, we had 74 murders in our city each of those years. And when you look at where we are today, 6 months into the year, we're at 10. So we've made a lot of progress. There's a lot of things that I'm going to talk about in terms of how that's been done in our city. And I think it begins with making sure you have adequate resources in the police department to be able to address crime, all crime, but in particular violent crime, and as well as some of the technology we've employed to be able to solve crime. We have a very, very high solvability percentage in terms of shootings and homicides. And anytime you have that, you prevent the next shooting from occurring. So I'll be sharing that with all the mayors across the country.
That's fantastic. What are some of the other topics that are going to be coming up at the conference this weekend that you'll be particularly paying attention to?
So the topic of immigration and enforcement by ICE and HSI is a big topic. We had a press conference on that yesterday. I spoke at, but that is definitely something that is on the minds of mayors across the country and the impact that that's happening on their community in terms of protest. I'll be part of a panel discussion tomorrow regarding that. And so that's one of the issues. Also, housing, tourism, things that really are we're challenged by in our cities across America. Those are things that I'll also be involved in. And then I led a panel this morning on data integration in terms of how we take what we know, the data that we collect, and share it with all of the departments within the city so that we can become more efficient, effective as government. So a lot of technology. One of the technologies, quite frankly, that's really interesting is having drones as first responders in law enforcement. I think that's something we're going to look at as a city. I know other cities are starting to approach that. So those are the topics at hand, and look forward to participating as many as I can.
That's great. The issue of the ICE and immigration, have you run into other mayors? I know we've been dealing with this here locally in Fresno, being labeled a sanctuary city and having to sort of push back on that. Are you talking to other mayors that may have gotten that designation and all kind of going, well, what happened there and why? Was a topic of conversation?
Yeah, it has been actually. When that sanctuary city list came out, it was only on the website one day. And the reason it was only on the website one day is because of the number of mistakes that were made, Fresno being one of them. We're not a sanctuary city. And there's so many other cities across America that found themselves on that list, as well as some of the counties. So it was information that probably should not have been put on the public website so quickly. But that is something that's created a lot of angst in cities across America. And in terms of the impact, what that means, I mean, if you're labeled a sanctuary city, are you gonna lose federal funding? For us, that's a pretty significant hit, hundreds of millions of dollars. So we definitely do not want to be categorized as a sanctuary city.
Are you getting questioned by other mayors that are outside California and say, hey, oh my gosh, you're a California mayor. We see what's going on in Los Angeles and the other places. Do they seem like they've got a level of concern for us more so than, Albuquerque, New Mexico, or, someplace else?
I think California is definitely on the radar of mayors across the United States. They see what's happening there in Los Angeles, what's happened in San Diego. They see the confrontation between Governor Newsom and President Trump, and so that's a lot of that's on the national news. And I've shared with mayors that I've talked to in Fresno. We did have we've had our protest, couple of thousand people that came out on what was titled No King's Day, but it's very peaceful, and we haven't seen the issues in terms of ICE raids in our community that have occurred in Los Angeles and other jurisdictions. So, and quite honestly, with the amount of farm workers that we have within our community, I hope that we can take care of those folks. They're the ones that work hard and put food on our table. And I know the administration is trying to find ways to be able to address that.
And I guess finally, budget wise, I know you just finished to get the budget through. Are other mayors and other cities having the same issues with trying to get a budget passed? And how are they? Did they ask you questions? Say, Jerry, how did you get that thing done? And what are your priorities? And what are they facing? I know, like Los Angeles, I think is looking at $1 billion budget deficit. What about other mayors across the country?
Yeah, it's interesting. I was just talking to the Mesa, Arizona mayor earlier, and we were talking about our budgets and very similar in terms of size and the fact that I was sharing with them we were able to get our budget passed 7-0 by the council, which is very challenging when you have the revenue shortfalls that we've experienced as they're outpacing our revenues. So it was an interesting discussion because they too and were having some revenue shortfalls in different funding categories, which made it very difficult. And they had given their police department a significant pay raise here recently, 15%, which if we did that in Fresno, we'd really be struggling right now. But it's interesting to hear how other mayors deal with their budget shortfalls. I would not want to be Los Angeles, certainly at this time, but it's all relevant. I mean, we had started out with a $50 million shortfall that we were able to shore up. And after the 82 budget motions, we had another 55 million that we had to fund in terms of a gap. And we were able to do that collectively and come up with, special revenues that we utilized, as well as 5% budget cuts that each of the departments experienced. So we made it through 7-0 vote. And I think God only have 3 more budgets to do.
And you're going to get some roads paved too, so that's a good thing, right? Okay. Anything else you'd like to add, Jerry? We didn't touch on here. Touched on a lot of topics. Sure, not that.
I think that's it, Jim. The one thing the mayor did do today was a podcast on the Jim Harbaugh comments about the camp possibly moving to Fresno. Maybe you could get a quick bite on that.
Yeah,
absolutely. Have you spoken to Mr. Harbaugh yourself? And what is his affinity to Fresno? Does he have a family member that lives here or something? What is this going to be?
So Coach Harbaugh spent some time in Fresno. At some point in time, fell in love with our community, fell in love with the people. I did a podcast today with Lorenzo Neal and another individual, and it was about the comments that Coach Harbaugh made about coming to Fresno for their practice. And I told him we would roll out the red carpet. I've been in communication with the president of Fresno State, as well as the folks that oversee Campus Point. Talked about the fact that we have a new Hyatt House hotel that's going to be opening this fall. They could take over that hotel. They could rent a movie theater to show game film. And we have an incredible football field, one with artificial turf, one with grass that they could practice on. And so hopefully Fresno State will be in communication. I know they will be with the Charger organization, and we can make that a reality next year.
Well, it's good enough for Shakira because she just announced she's coming August 7th, so it should be good enough for Harbaugh, right?
Yeah, Shakira is going to be a big hit in Fresno. I mean, filling up Valley Children's Stadium. I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't have over 40,000 people there to watch it.
Through that, right? Tell Harbaugh these seats don't lie. See, there we go. Coach from Sampaio.
Hi, I'm Monty Torres with Fox 26 News on YouTube. Thank you for checking out our YouTube channel, where we have loads of great content for you to choose from. And while you're here, why not click on the subscribe button right here? That way you can stay in touch with all the latest breaking news, everything news related within the Central Valley. And thank you for watching.